Welcome back to Chrono Trigger for Moms. We're beyond the ruins now. We've made it to who knows what time period we're in. We jumped in a time gate to escape from the evil Chancellor in Guardia Kingdom. And if I recall, wherever we landed is so damaged and so polluted that just staying outside long enough is harmful to our health. In fact, I think if we go to the map here, yeah, we just have question marks on the map. We don't know where or when we are. Yeah, when the screen's starting to flash. We're starting to take damage out here. So much smog! Going into the Tran Dome. Oh, yeah? Oh, it's another one of these. A curious crest is engraved here, and a mysterious force seals it shut. If you're looking for food, you won't find any here. Kingdom? Chancellor? Has the hunger driven you mad? This is an Enertron. You get a full night's sleep in a few seconds, but it won't do a thing for your hunger. I'll be the judge of that. HP and MP restored. But you're still just as hungry as before. Well, the Trandome was not very much help in bringing us any information about where we've landed or what we should do next. So, I thought today it would be fun. Because, Mom, you don't play a lot of video games. And obviously, I play way too many video games. This has been a conflict of personalities for many years. But there is some intersection over the years. It's hard to raise a child in the 1990s who plays video games constantly and not come away from the situation with some fun anecdotes, which I thought I would share today. As soon as I remember how to kill these monsters... Oh, I thought they were weak to fire. I guess not. No, they're just weak to sword. We'll just hit them with sword. That should be the trick. So, I've shared some of these stories before in my many, many years of just recording videos and doing live streams and things. But here just some fun anecdotes about me and you and video games over the years. Some like intersection points that I thought were worth looking back on and chuckling at. Here's one that I think a lot of people probably know. Oh, that rat stole a potion from me. Oh, that turd burglar. Okay, well this one's not going to get one. Ha! A Berserker ring. I don't think I want to equip that if that does what I think it does. Yeah, boosts attack and defense, but cannot control the wearer. So I'd much rather have control of my characters. If I equip that on Chrono, he'll do more damage with his attacks, but every round he'll automatically attack, and I'm never going to be able to give him any more commands, which means he's not going to be able to use techs or dual techs or use items. It's just not a good thing to equip altogether. This isn't really an anecdote, but it's just something interesting to think about, given the time period in which I was born. But I have never in my life... Can I firewall these things safely? I guess we'll try it. And if we can't, then tomorrow we'll have to heal someone. I have never in my life lived somewhere where there weren't video games in the house, ever. I was born in 1982, and by that point, that was kind of towards the end of the lifespan of the Atari 2600. In fact, just the next year, 1983, was what was called the video games crash of 1983, which was this industry-ending, market-destroying collapse of video game manufacturing and distribution in the United States that lasted until Nintendo launched the NES. That's an enormously interesting historical event. But even in that year, like, my dad had the Atari 2600. He had it when I was born, and of course I had an NES by the time I was, I don't know, 6 or so. So I've never known a world or a life or a house where video games weren't a part of it. I think that's an interesting just concept to think about, because most people, like, they can remember getting their first video game. Like, they know the first game that they played. I don't really know, because I have vague memories of being a very, very young child and just having the Atari in the house, and it was something that Dad and his brothers and their friends would play with. And then even after moving to Florida, like, it came with us, and that's when I kind of started playing it. So I think that's an interesting little data point. I always like to tell people that I am just the perfect enough age to have kind of seen the whole video game industry come and go. But that's not completely true, because there was a couple generations of games, like the original Pong machines in the 1970s, and then the Atari systems that came out in the late 70s and early 80s that predate me, but the NES is really the first console worth remembering, I think. But yeah, this is a fun little data point that I thought would be worth putting on this list. So here's another one. I'm not going to say that I'm not embarrassed about this, okay? Like, this is not embarrassing. I don't think there's any reason to be ashamed of this, but my viewers probably don't know. But you beat the original Super Mario Brothers before I did. We got an NES in the house, and I was only 6 years old. I don't think a lot of 6-year-olds are beating Super Mario Brothers, which is why I say I'm not ashamed. Like, it's a hard game. But I will give props. My mama saved the princess before I ever did. And I was probably very jealous back then. But I'm okay with it now. We've gone through the years of therapy and the years of healing. And I'm in a good place with it now. Okay. So this is one of my favorite childhood memories back in the days. I owned a Game Boy, but I didn't get to play it a lot because at the time the adults in my house had, I'm going to say, a perhaps borderline unhealthy obsession with Tetris. I remember every night for years sitting in the living room and watching TV or whatever, and you and my stepfather just passing the Game Boy back and forth. And you'd know when somebody got a good score because they go, "Hey, baby, I got a rocket!" And that's how you knew that they had got a good score in Tetris and that somebody had launched a rocket. And then we were all obligated to give a round of applause, and they would take a little bow. It was a thing. It was a celebration. Don't get me wrong, I think Tetris is a fantastic game, and I know we've actually, these are the guys I need to use fire on. These guys here only die to fire. These are the twerps I got to burn. Can I get all, oh I can. Good stuff. In fact, this past year, NES Tetris has absolutely exploded. I mean, Game Boy Tetris and NES Tetris are pretty close to the same game. We did also have NES Tetris, and I remember a lot of that also got played in the house. But NES Tetris has exploded this past year, and it's brought back many fond memories of just, everybody playing Tetris in the house while watching George Clooney in ER. That's a show that we watched together for years. That was a weekly night that I got to hang out with my mom and watch ER, and I'll never forget that. She can't do anything against these guys. She doesn't have any fire, but she can heal herself. What we're learning here is that Marl is not a particularly beneficial character to have in the active party. There's not a whole lot she can do a lot of the time. We'll be able to cycle her out a little bit later. This is a story that I know I've told in videos before, but in mad respect to my poor mother for doing this, but in 1996, the big toy for Christmas, I think the biggest toy that year was the Tickle Me Elmo, but like the second biggest toy that you could not get anywhere is the Nintendo 64, and it was impossible to find, and it was extremely expensive, and I wasn't accustomed to getting, my brother and I, neither of us were very accustomed to getting very expensive gifts for Christmas. We always got nice gifts, but getting like a $300 game console or something and finding it under the Christmas tree, that wasn't a common occurrence. But in 1996, and I have no idea how she found one, but my mom found a Nintendo 64 in the box. I think she had to drive like 60 miles to a Sears in another state closest state is more than 60 miles away. You can't drive anywhere. We live in the dangly part of Florida. You gotta go north to Georgia to get to another state. I don't know, like I think she had to like fight her way through a line with a hatchet, but got the Nintendo 64 home, and we couldn't hook it up in anything. Nintendo 64 was the first video game console that came out where you needed particular cables to hook it up. You couldn't hook it up with the little screw-in RF cable, so we had to buy a $30 thing, and I didn't have that on Christmas Day. So Christmas was ruined, then and forever. Thanks, Mom. You there, where have you come from? We just came from the other side of the ruins to the west. What did you say? Hey, we've got people who've crossed the ruins. What? Are you serious? So there are people strong enough to fight those mutants. So now we've made it to the next dome. Which dome is this? We're in Eris Dome now. My husband left for the food storage facility down below. Oh, these people have food. We haven't seen him since. Pardon me, I didn't even tell you my name. I'm Doan, a descendant of the former director of this information center, in the days when it still was one. This dome substructure holds a supercomputer and a food storage facility, but the robot guards are still active and will not let us through. Ironic, is it not? We starve right on top of our own stores of food. This is a dreadful place that an absolutely dreadful place that we found. Let's go ahead and rest in the Enertron. Get a full night's sleep. But still just as hungry as before. Lady girl over here will sell us things, I think. Do you have money? You sure this stuff is money? Well, here's what I have. Okay, so yeah, we are going to have to buy some equipment here. 10 potions. I'm going to buy a few more. I'd like to have a few more potions on hand. I guess just going through the common items here. The potion heals our hit points. There's also potions that are higher in level. There's mid potions and I think high potions that restore more and more hit points. For magic points, you have to use an ether, and then there are mid ether and high ethers. The panacea heals status ailments. So this is an aspect of JRPGs we haven't gone over yet, but in some combats, there are ways for enemies to damage you other than just reducing your hit points. They can hit you with a status ailment, which changes the behavior of your character. As an example, if Chrono were to equip that Berserker ring I got, he would get a status ailment called Berserk, which makes him automatically attack monsters and be unable to receive commands. Chrono Trigger doesn't have a lot of status ailments. Like, there's a poison one, there's one that locks your text so you can't use them. There's a couple other ones, but they're not a major draw of this game. I think Confusion is the most dangerous of them. That's one where your person just starts laughing at everything and then starts attacking their own friends. We have an Athenian water, which if somebody is reduced to 0 hit points in battle and dies, we can use the Athenian water to bring them back to life. Then the shelters, which if we get to a save point, can give us a full heal. But we'll be just as hungry as before. None of this is food. Let me think. I do have to go through another dungeon here, so it is probably worth... I mean, this stuff's cheap. I should just buy all of this. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get a blaster. We'll get 3 of these iron suits. We'll get 3 of these iron hats. And if you just look at the numbers down there, you'll see all the good we're doing. So defense goes from 38 to 49 to 58. So just that new equipment, he's in a whole new world of being able to survive damage. And the same thing here, I think. Yeah, these iron suits, just way better than what we had. If I just keep saving up money, someday it'll come in handy. That's what the guy who left across the ruins used to say. Yeah, that guy. Our favorite guy. So one of the things I do want you to pay attention to as we're going through, especially this next area here, this next couple of areas, is this sense of place in Chrono Trigger. What I mean by sense of place is, like, yeah, we're in this kind of destroyed dome, and we're going to go down into this basement sub-level, but, like, look how it's crafted, and imagine that it is the place that it says it is. You plan to go below? Of course. We've made many attempts ourselves, but they've always met with failure. Well, there's no way of knowing what'll happen unless we try, right? It's nice to see such spirited young people for a change. Careful then, and come back alive. So here's what I mean by sense of place. Like JRPGs that use this kind of top-down viewpoint, there's a camera up ahead looking down at the map. And they're made out of tiles. Like, you can see each little 16 by 16 pixel tile. And so you draw 100 of these tiles, and you can build a map of any size by tiling them all together, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, and make any shape or size map that you want. But for many, many years, these tiles were very, very simple. For example, in like the earliest Dragon Quest RPGs on the NES, you'd have areas of the game that were just 2 tiles. You'd have a red brick floor and like gray stone walls, and that was it. That was your lot. There wasn't a lot of attention paid to, we need a cave, we need a tower, we need an evil castle to go through. But there wasn't a lot of attention paid to making a place look like a place. Initiating command sequence. Chrono, what's that? Marl, let's smash this thing. Oh yeah, baby. Alright, here's the Guardian. The gimmick of this fight is it brings in its 2 little drones, and we just want to kill the drones with our strongest attack, which right now is Fire Whirl. If you attack the Guardian while the drones are still alive, it does this counterattack, which will probably just completely kill me. So what I'm doing here is, instead of using up Marl's turn, I'm just sitting on her turn. Because once somebody does take damage and does go down to low hit points and needs some healing, she's already set, already able to put that healing out. She doesn't have to wait for her turn to come back around to do that. But each of these things should take 2 Fire Whirls to kill. And you know what? I'm going to heal it. I think 100 hit points is a good spot to heal. Luke is right there, so that's a good time to do it. The benefit of having Marl around is she doesn't have to use potions to heal people. She can just do it with magic. And the benefit of that is, first of all, you're saving items for when you really need them. And second of all, potions heal at like a fixed amount of health, like just a little bit of health. Whereas Marl's healing magic, now I can damage the Guardian here. And I think we're just going to have Marl attack him, because he's going to revive these 2 bits. They're going to come back out, the 2 little drones. That didn't do any damage. Oh, maybe he can only damage with regular attacks. He's counting down from 5 now. That's not good. When he gets all the way to 1, he's going to bring the bits back. So we got to make sure to do as much damage as we can before then. But when Marl casts a healing spell, it scales with her magic stat on her stat screen. The higher that stat is, the more damage her or the more health her healing spell will restore. That's a benefit you don't get from using potions. Maybe kind of? Because Chrono's going to be out of magic points here in a minute. Okay, so I just do it with... I don't need these 2 Fire Whirls here. They don't have that much health. I can Fire Whirl and just have Chrono slash with a sword. I gotta heal some peoples. We kind of saw this in the previous video last week in the cathedral. Like, the cathedral dungeon was built to really look like a cathedral. They really put a lot of time and energy into drawing the tiles to look like carpet and look like worn walls and sweeping staircases and building a place that looks and feels like the place it's supposed to be. That's an attention to detail that RPGs were only starting to pay attention to around this time, in the mid to late 90s. And not everybody making these kind of games got on board with it, right? You have to remember that Chrono Trigger was designed by one of the biggest RPG studios of the time. There was no one bigger than Squaresoft making RPGs at that point. So this really is like the top AAA development. Like, this is as big as it gets. So they had the luxury of being able to make places that looked like places, whereas other companies at the time were still making just kind of stone-looking towers. Kind of arbitrary mazes and things. Keep Luca alive. I haven't had to heal Chrono once. Chrono's been a boss this whole fight. He's gonna get his turn here. But I do get the sense that a lot of people who don't play video games that often, especially back in the 1990s, like, really understood how sophisticated some of this media was getting at just being able to tell stories and convey good information. I mean, how many times have you seen a movie or a TV show or something where, like, a character is playing a video game, like, in the background, and they're using, like, beep boop Pac-Man sounds? They did that. They were doing that in Dr. House MD in, like, 2012. He's sitting there with a Sony PlayStation Portable playing a game, making little beep boop Pac-Man sounds. Nope, games have been sophisticated like this at least since the mid-90s, was when they really started to want to tell like a conventional story. And one of the ways they do that is sense of place, making places that actually feel like the places they're supposed to be. Marl learned Allure. I think it's a confusion tech. Yuck! Something reeks. Everything's completely rotten. The refrigeration must have failed. Chrono, look. He's not breathing. Must have died down here. There's something in his hand. What do you suppose this is? It looks like some kind of seed. A seed? Could it even grow in a place like this? A note is written on a soiled scrap of paper. That rat is more than just a statue. It knows the secret of this dome. Catch it. Oh, there's a mid-ether. There, that must be it. Shh, it might run away. Run after it and press A to catch it. I sure will. I got it. I don't know why they thought this was going to be difficult or whatever. It's just a squeak. I give up. I'll tell you everything, squeak. Press A, Y, then B to activate the switch. Once you hear the sound, squeak. Oh, A, Y, B. Okay. The trouble with this is it's telling me buttons I don't actually have on this controller. Because I'm playing this on the PC. Controllers are weird on PC. Some games can tell what kind of controller you're using and tell you the correct buttons, and some can't. So it was A, Y, then B. So for me, that's going to be cross, triangle, then circle. Okay. And that opens up the next door. And now we're going deeper. Oh, there's a treasure box down there that I probably want to get. You can see I'm kind of weaving in between monsters that I don't want to fight. That's a lot of times in Chrono Trigger you can avoid fights that you don't want to get into, which is nice. It does kind of leave you behind in the experience curve in some capacities, though. These monsters here we're probably going to have to fight. No, I guess not. We just snuck right by them. Oh, that's dead end. I'm not doing anything up there. This robot's fun because it'll automatically shoot anything that moves. So if we attack, it'll shoot us. And if the rats attack, it'll shoot them. So we don't have to do anything. I mean, Marl's just standing in the way of the laser, which I'm not the smartest thing she's ever done. In fact, she'll probably heal herself and then get attacked for moving. Watch. Oh no, she's fine. Well, once that's taken care of, we can just go ahead and burn him down. Shall we get back to our list of anecdotes? This is a fun one. I think this is a fun one. Okay. A few years after Chrono Trigger, the PlayStation 1 came out. Actually, the PlayStation 1 came out the year this game was released, I believe. At least maybe only in Japan. Maybe it wasn't. Oh, there's another one of those sealed doors over there. Wild. This must be the supercomputer. Good, it's still operational. If we run a search on temporal distortions, we might just find our gate. Got it. This is a really important scene, so if you're not actually watching the video, like if you're doing dishes, you're playing with your dog or whatever, and just kind of listening, you're gonna want to watch this scene. This is important. East of here, and I don't know why you wouldn't be playing with your dog, because you've got one of the best dogs in the world. My number one dog for sure. Lulu's asleep, so I can say that and she's not going to get mad. There, Protodome. Leave it to Luca. Who'd have thought this machine could tell us something like that? Say, what does this button do? Is a question you should never ask, ever. (1999 AD). Visual record of the Day of Lavos. What we're witnessing here is the end of the world. We are witnessing the apocalypse. This is how the world is destroyed 999 years after the time we came from. We were in 1000 AD, we jumped in a gate, so we skipped way past the end of the world. What was that? Lavos. Is that what destroyed the world? Then this really is our future. No, it can't be! I won't believe it! This can't be the way the world ends. Chrono. Hey, that's right, we can change it. Change history just like Chrono did when he saved me. We have to. Right, Luca? Right, Chrono? Yeah, I guess so. Unfortunately, we've got gates that will let us move through time. What do you say, Chrono? Okay, let's do it. Alright, it's set. Chrono, Luca, let's do this. First things first, let's get back to our own time period and see if we can find any information about this Lavos. Next stop, Protodome. And the heroic music kicks up. Because we have purpose now. We are going to be spending the entire rest of the game learning about and interacting with and trying to foil the plans of this Lavos creature. So yeah, the PlayStation had come out. And Squaresoft was still making the best RPGs on the market. They released Final Fantasy VII, and so one of the games that they released is a game called Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was billed as the first cinematic RPG. They called it that because it was filled with actual cinematics. It was a very short game, but it came on 2 CDs because of how many cinematics that were in the game. It was meant to give the experience of like watching a horror movie, but it was a pretty good game too. But I couldn't buy it because it's an M-rated game, and at the time I was not old enough to buy M-rated games. So I couldn't go into Target and be like, hey man, can I have a copy of Parasite Eve? They'd have been, no, you're going to jail, small child. You're back. And what did you discover? This is our future. Who cares? Where's the food? This was the only thing left. A seed? You don't know how long that Enertron will hold out. That seed might be your only hope. Anyway, just stay alive. Don't give up. We won't either. You're a strange bunch. You're different from us somehow. You mean because we haven't lost hope? Hope. There's a word I haven't heard in some time. It does have a comforting ring to it, though. Actually, there's a translation difference between this version of the game and the original Super Nintendo version. In this version, he points out that we look different, and Marl says it's because we haven't given up hope. In the original version of this game, he points out that we look different, and Marl says, I think it's because we're healthy. Like, yeah, Marl, rub it in. These people haven't had anything to eat for years, and you're a princess. Like, I don't know what kind of seed this is, but I'll do my best to grow it. What's that? This may just be the thing we needed. You're off to Protodome, then. You'll need to pass through Site 32. Take this with you. I have the jet bike key. It's the key to a jet bike parked at the Site 32 ruins. I used to ride it when I was young. Hopefully it still works. They've got even more powerful robots in that dome, and they've overrun the place. Take care and don't give up hope. Alright. So, I couldn't buy Parasite Eve because I was too young and it's an M-rated game. So I had my mom take me to Target to buy the game. I mean, I gave her the money to buy the game for me, right? And I remember you looked at the game and looked at the back of it like, well, maybe I don't want you playing this game if it's an M-rated game. And one of the things that it said on the back of the box for Parasite Eve was sexual themes. I mean, I still got the game. It's not like you weren't gonna... I've never in my life I had a thing where I wasn't allowed to like watch a movie or a show or something because like it was too adult or too grown up. But eek! Outsiders! Better report to Crawley! So, I don't know if you even remember that story, but it might interest you to learn what the sexual themes were in Parasite. Now, one thing you could do is go back to the archives on my channel, back to, I don't know, 2014 or maybe earlier, where I actually have a playthrough of Parasite Eve. I played it on the channel start to finish. It's an excellent game, one of my favorites from that era. But the sexual themes in Parasite Eve is, it deals with like this biological disease. It is like melting people into slime and whatever. And like this evil woman is trying to like give birth to the next evolution. It's like sci-fi, like high concept sci-fi stuff. But there's a scene where like she has to artificially inseminate herself with this like magical mitochondria sperm. And so there's one plot point in the game that mentions that, and that's the sexual theme that they were trying to protect me from with the M-rated game. There was a bridge here, I saw it, I swear, Ribbit! What, it got up and walked away, Ribbit? Don't you lie to me! There's nothing here at all, Ribbit! But it's true, Ribbit. Someone's coming, let's scram, Ribbit! What was the other way? I want to make sure I don't miss any treasure boxes in this area. Ah, like I would have missed a treasure box. See, there's one right here. Oh, Luca is perfectly positioned here, actually. I'm really liking where Luca's sitting right now. Because you should be able to get both of those guys with a flamethrower. They're just popping bubbles on me. Don't worry about it. It's getting a little wet. It's okay. This box had better been worth it now that I'm now that I've slogged through that fight. Some gold. Sure, I'm a little bit richer now. But sense of place. Like, this is supposed to be like a grody old sewer. And it, like, looks and feels like a grody old sewer. Even though, like, these tiles and things, we've seen some of these used elsewhere. Like, it feels like a different underground space than the dome we were just in, which was like a sub-level where they were like a storage area. This place is a tad on the spooky side. I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh, this is a fun room. There's a diary here. The final entry reads as follows. I'm through. I can't take any more of this. The fishmen attack if I make even the slightest noise. If I knew things would be like this, I'd have taken the guillotine any day of the week. Think I'll go out with a good loud scream. See how the soggy freaks like that. So this whole room is just filled with ways you can make noise. Like talk to the cat? That's a good way to make noise. Let's just not talk to the cat. Oh, we don't want to accidentally kick this can into that bucket. That'll make a noise. We don't want to touch the cheese either. Call a rat out, he'll squeak, and that'll make noise. Oh, a save point. I think I'll save my game. Nope, the save point dings. Don't touch it, it'll make noise. So we just avoid all the fishmen. Very, very useful. Fire Whirl is probably the way to go on these clowns, I should think. Oh, they're too far away. Flamethrower and then Wind Slash, though. How do we feel about that? Perfect. Like it. So I do have one story. It's not even a story, it's just a little observation. But we have Aura Whirl, which can heal HP to everybody. It's a dual tech. But she can't use it outside of combat, so I guess we'll just use this to heal up right now. So, my wife and I have a dumb little tradition where we always name our dogs after characters in Final Fantasy games. My longtime viewers will, of course, know that. And, of course, my dear lady mother knows all of my dogs well, surely. So, our first dog was Edgar. Ah, there are hidden switches over here. Switch opens the door. Now we can circle back around. So, yeah, we have a 15-year-old Morky named Edgar, named after the chainsaw guy from Final Fantasy VI. Looks like you just have to press this switch and the bridge will extend across, Ribbit. So, switch it on already, Ribbit. Ribbit! Can't reach it, Ribbit. And you call yourself a frog, Ribbit. Yeah, if only they were some kind of creature that was known for being able to jump fairly high. Someone's coming! Let's scram, Ribbit! What do these frogs think I'm going to do to them if I catch them? A few years later, we got a little chihuahua named Rydia, after the little green-haired girl in Final Fantasy IV. Ooh, a rage band. I don't think I want to equip that either, though, do I? 50% counterattack rate. That's actually pretty good. So that's going to lower his attack power a little bit from the Power Glove. But with the Rage Band on, every time Chrono gets attacked, there's a 50% check he'll automatically counterattack, which means he'll be putting out more damage. Yeah, let's give him that Rage Band. I can pick up the difference in strength because I gave him those strength capsules before. There's the three of them, and they're almost here. Waltzing through the sewers like they own the place, eh? Must have a death wish. We'll teach them a little respect. Yes, yes we will. Just let them come through here. They'll be chopped liver, pulverized. Won't even know what to call them when we're done. Okay, this is way too much laughing. I can't keep that up. Exclamation point! I'll mash you to goo! I don't remember what this guy does, if he does anything bad at all. Let's throw a Fire Whirl out. I want to say he's got a claw attack that can just drop somebody in one hit. I want to see how much damage this does. That's quite a lot. Oh, okay, it drops the one hit point, no matter how much health they have. So there's no point in keeping our health high in this fight, so he can just drop us back down to 1. We'll just keep up this strategy seems to be working fine. Then whoever he does that to next, we can throw aura at. So anyway, I had a few like strange years because I've been accustomed to just talking about video games and Final Fantasy stuff in particular with like other nerds who like knew the games, which of course Mom totally, absolutely isn't. Like, she doesn't know Final Fantasy from... But it was so strange for those years, hearing her talk about Edgar and talk about Rydia. Very, very strange. But our third dog that we've had for... I think she just celebrated her 1-year anniversary with us just earlier this week, is Little Lulu, who is named after the goth lady with the generous bosoms in Final Fantasy X. And it's not strange hearing Mom talk about my little Lulu, because Lulu is also my aunt's name, her sister that she grew up with. So, in fact, it was the other way around for me for many years. Talking about Lulu in the video game in Final Fantasy X was causing me stress because for many years before that, Lulu was my aunt. And now she's my dog. So, going through some weird things. Ooh, oh, you know what? That's going to be good. That was worth coming down here for, right? 5 points of attack? Sure, Thunderblade, good. So we turn on the bridge, and all we're doing is we're just making little shortcuts back to the entry of the sewer, so we can get back really easy. Here's Death Peak. Probably worth checking out Death Peak, right? Running against the wind here. Ah! Alright, so Death Peak is not happening at the moment. Here's the Keeper's Dome. Oh, this is very, very ominous, mysterious music in the Keeper's Dome. Oh, wise one, I cannot wait to see what program code you will install in me next. Oh, now that's the sort of appreciation that makes all my work worthwhile. How's the current one? Seems a little better than before, anyhow. Shala, oh, I've missed you so. No, you mustn't go to Death Peak. Too late, Buster. Wouldn't make it very far anyway. It has to be the right time, and it has to be them, or the way is shut. Yes, yes. Say, have you seen my masterpieces? The Ocean Palace and the Blackbird? I designed and built them both, you know. Fine works, wouldn't you say? Another curious crest engraved into a black sealed door. This is a mysterious place indeed. We've got crazy old Doc Brown here, installing programs into this radish monster, question mark. And I don't know what Ocean Palace is, or Blackbird, or what's going on here at all. In fact, this whole excursion through the sewers was completely pointless because there's nothing here for us. Except for that Thunderblade. We do know when we are, though. We are in 2300 AD. So the timeline is that 1000 AD is where Chrono is from, okay? Went to the first gate at the Millennial Fair. That shunted us backwards in time to the Middle Ages, which is 600 AD. So 400 years between Queen Leene and Princess Nadia. And then after we got chased out of the castle and jumped into this next portal, we got shunted into the future. So 1300 years into the future from Chrono's time. And we've also learned that about 1000 years into the future from Chrono's time, or about, about 300 years in the past from where we are now, is when the world is destroyed, when Lavos erupts out of the planet and showers the whole world with meteor rain. We don't have to go through the entire abandoned sewers again, though, which is nice, because we made a little bridge here. We can just run back out. Very, very handy. That's a kind of a frequent design thing that JRPGs do, where you can go, you have to go through the dungeon the long way the first time, but then you unlock a shortcut back your second time, just in case you ever have to go through there again. Alright, Site 32. Oh, I left Site 32 by accident. Obtained a mid potion. Here's the jet bike. It's really more of a, like, some kind of car. Hold it right there. Oh! Bro! Thanks for the intro, boys. Bro! This is another translation difference in this version. All the robots call this guy Bro. I think this one was a change for the worse. In the Super Nintendo version, they called him the Man. So this guy comes in and all the robots go, "Oh, it's the Man!" I miss the Man. You lowlives can call me Johnny. I'm the leader of this pack. Now listen up. This ruined highway up ahead's the only road you've got. You want to reach the other side, then you're going to have to ride. In a race against me, that is. I'll let you use that jet bike, because that's the kind of guy I am. Don't sweat it, and don't you dare chicken out, babe. So you shiny axles know how to ride? Yes. Yes, I do. And now we're going to introduce you to the concept of the mini-game. The mini-game is a smaller game in the larger game you're already playing. And in this case, it's a racing game. I've got to get to the goal before Johnny does. The Man! And kind of the way to do that is we keep circling each other like this, and you can kind of like bounce into the back like this, and he'll stay ahead. And I can kind of do that to him too. But a mini-game... They became very common in JRPGs around this time, and especially in the PlayStation era. And all I want to do is kind of get to the end before using my boosts, really. Oh, I lost! I pushed the wrong boost button! Oh no! Bro, he's so fast! You came in dead last! Give it up! Go home! I'm trying! The gate's on the other side of the... Ha, what a joke! If that's the best you can do, you can walk your way across the ruins. Better watch out for all those monsters, though. Ride again if you think you can handle it, chump. Yeah, let's go. I should find out what button is the boost button before I get to the very end of the course, maybe. Would be a good idea. Okay, there it is. So you get this big boost, but he just catches right back up to you instantly. So all you have to do to win is get close to the goal, then use a boost to get across the goal before he does. So it's just a matter of pushing the boost at the right time. Minigames are kind of despised in JRPGs, because what all a minigame is they take you out of the game you're playing and make you play some completely different, usually completely irrelevant game. That's when I won. And usually the way that minigames work is you have to play them once to finish the story, which is the case. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it might not be the case here. I think you can just cross the ruins if you want. I don't think you're forced to race Johnny if you don't want to. But typically, they'll make you play the minigame once and win, and then after that you can go back and replay it, but nobody ever does that because all minigames are pretty much terrible. You beat me? I don't get it. Well, you can come challenge me again anytime. We'll ride the wind, babe. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. There's something extremely perverse about a character named Johnny constantly calling me babe that I just do not like. So we're gonna... I do want to step back in here because there is a treasure box that we can pick up that is completely inconsequential and is not going to be of any help whatsoever. But... leave no treasure box behind. That's one of my mottos. I think it is going to take 2 fire whirls to take down these mutants. They are very, very healthy creatures indeed. Unfortunately, we're not standing close enough together to get all fire whirled together. And this is actually the problem of kind of being stuck with Luca and Marl at the same time. Is they are the 2 weakest characters in the game in terms of attacking monsters and dealing damage. Luca is really good because she has really good magic attacks, which she can use. But her regular gun attacks are not that strong, and I don't want to fight more of these mutants. Oh, these guys are just set right up to get Fire Whirled. Like, yeah. How are you guys doing today? Their Chrono just attacked. Nice. His counterattack procced. Proc is a verb you will not hear outside of video game lingo. What it means is, if your character has a chance to proc an attack, that means if the trigger for that attack is met, the game rolls a little, like, invisible die, and if it comes up the right number, the attack is triggered. That's called proccing the attack. So I got a race recorder. That's just an item that from now on when I race Johnny, it'll just keep track of my time. But I'm never going to race Johnny again. Farewell, the man! Alright, so we have this, this is the derelict factory there, but we're trying to get to Protodome, so hopefully this is it. And you can see how small the world map actually is, because we started at the left, at the Trandome, all the way on the left side. We've crossed the entire continent, and we took a little sojourn down to the central island there as well to check out. So it looks like a very, very small world, but it's actually fairly large when you take into consideration how many different time periods we're going to be traveling to. And going into the Protodome, we'll just go ahead and throw all the attacks out. There's an Enertron at the end of this little section, so with any luck, there'll be a gate back here. And we just jump in the gate and we'll end up back in 1080 where Luca can start doing some investigation into Lavos. How she intends to do that, considering nobody knows Lavos exists in 1080, I have no idea, but we're on it. Like we are folks on a mission at this point. We're Big Dan heroes. Of course, it's an RPG, so that's actually, it's not going to be that easy. It's the gameplay loop again. We're going to have to earn everything. Remember, you do a little bit of exploration, you do a dungeon, you do a boss, then there's a story beat, and there's usually a breathing room like a town or something neutral, and then you just start that cycle over again. Well, we just kind of had something neutral with the racing the man. And we know that we're not going to find this gate without going through another dungeon and fighting another boss, because that's how the gameplay loop works. So the question is, what's the story beat? And I'm not going to mince words. This is one of my favorite story beats in the game. This is going to get real emotional real quick. What's this thing? It's in bad shape, but it looks like a humanoid robot. Incredible. I think I can fix it. What? Fix it? What if it attacks us like the other ones? I'll make sure it won't. Robots don't attack of their own free will, you know. They only do it because humans make them that way. Lots of robot attacks in 1000 AD. From the sounds of it. BattleBots has gotten out of control in that era. Luca, you really feel for them, don't you? I better get to work. The door won't budge. Alright, that should do it. I'm gonna give it some juice. Good morning! Good morning, mistress. What is your command? I'm not your mistress, I'm Marl. This is Chrono. And that's Luca, the one who fixed you. Understood. Madam Luca restored my circuits. Just Luca will do. That manner of address could potentially cause offense. I'm incapable of offensive speech. Pay attention to this scene too. This is just one of those tiny little touches that kind of sets this game above other games of its era. Every time this creature talks, every time the robot says something, you get that little voice clip, that little robot noise, like he's R2-D2 or something. Except not quite as annoying as R2-D2. not every character in this game has that kind of thing, because this game kind of predates voice acting in console games. There wasn't enough storage space on like an SNES cartridge to have voice clips and things. But for the robot, and also for Frog, who can croak every time he talks, just those voice clips give just that little bit of extra character, a little bit of flavor to their scenes that just enhances the storytelling of the game. Well, some of us don't like it when people are so formal all the time. Isn't that right, Marl? Hehehe. Understood, Luca. Alright, so what's your name? Name? Perhaps you are referring to my serial number. My serial number is R-66Y. R-66Y? Cool! Cool? What are you talking about? That won't do at all. Come on, Chrono, let's give him a better name. And of course, one of the funniest things you can do is just actually give him the name R-66Y. But we're just going to leave him as Robo. It's actually funny how many characters in this game have alternate names that are also 5 letters long. 5 letters is your limit. You can't have a character with more than 5 letters. But, like, I remember playing this game as a kid and going through and giving all the characters their correct names. So I would rename Marl to Nadia and Robo to R-66Y. And there's other characters later, like Frog's real name is also 5 letters, we'll find out. Robo. Yes, Robo! That's perfect! That's the best name for a robot anybody's ever had ever. Your new name is Robo, okay? My name is Robo. Data storage complete. Hey, Robo, there's something I was hoping you could... What happened here? This dome contained many humans and others like me. Oh dear, this is kind of hard to say, but I think something awful happened while you were out. I don't think anyone else is left. I see. What about yourselves? We came through a gate, a time warp from the year 1000. We learned there was a gate here when we went to Aris Dome. And then we found you when we came looking for the gate. But the door to the inner chamber is sealed shut, so it looks like we're out of luck. The dome's power has been shut off completely. The factory to the north contains an emergency power generator for this dome. I can bypass security to activate it. Shall we go there? You do that for us? You repaired me. Now it's my turn to be of assistance. However, the generator will produce power for only a short time. Someone must remain here to open the door as soon as power is restored to the dome. Marl or I can stay. Who'll stay behind? Marl, yeah, for sure. Okay, be careful, Chrono. So what the game has done here is it's created a justification for... The game only has a 3-person party limit. So there's a line between who's in your party and who's in your active party. We're eventually going to recruit up to 7 characters over the course of the game, but you can only have 3 at once. So the game needs some reason, like some excuse, to always leave the other people out of the party. So the excuse here is Marl's got to stay behind while we go flip a switch, but the real reason is you can only have 3 people in a party. Actually, I do want Marl back for a second. Finally, you can't imagine how boring it's been here. Can I take Luca's place? Not for long? Do I want Luca to have the ribbon? You know what? No, this is fine. I was considering taking off her accessory and giving it to Luca, but I think it's fine. Guess you need my genius after all, huh? I mean, not your genius so much as your, like, fire attack magic. Alright, so we have Robo in the party now. That's really exciting. So Robo has, like, mechanical arms that he uses as his weapon. We don't need to give him anything. Give him a headband. A little bit of speed is probably good for him, because his strength is already really good. He doesn't need more strength. Should also hop in the Enertron. There is an Enertron here. Yeah, it's down here. full night's sleep in just a few seconds. I like how even Robo looks bummed that he's still hungry. Like, what does he even eat? Nuts and bolts and loose wires and old USB drives and things? So now it's time to bust into this factory. Well, I mean, I say now, but I really mean next Saturday in the next episode of the series. It'll be time to bust into this factory. The derelict factory when we return, and we'll get to see what Robo can do.